basically in our consortium we have data centers. So it's quite interesting. We as a Profirator, we are sort of like the technology provider and the coordinator, but the stakeholders in the data center data space are data centers. And the thing about the challenge is that the data centers, they process people's data or companies' data and stuff like that, and there are ways to share that, but there's also metadata existing, which is confidential in form. So you cannot just give that out, and that's the challenge, that how do you make sure that the data looks the same between the data centers, and to find a mechanism where you can actually share confidentially the data between the data centers without making point-to-point integrations, always different contracts. This is very slow, and one of the key takeaways that we want to do in this is we want to pick up speed. So using the i4Trust mechanisms, we want to make these possibilities faster so that companies can agree faster. And when they share the same data models, they can also integrate faster. And the data quality is better because it's in the same format, and because we are getting this framework, also the security is better because it's uniform at every place. For us, we just look at the data and it has to be in uniform format so that you can compare notes in a way. I mean, if somebody writes in French and somebody writes in Finnish, trying to figure out what's going on is difficult. But if we have the same data, it works. And we are really hoping that when we prove that this works, then the other data centers can also pick it up. There are like tons of data centers in the world, but not everybody has the same profile. The data centers that are in our consortium, so Luolakali and Contrasec, they do specific services in a way. They are not hyperscalers, they are not Azure, they are not AWS. They don't do what is called bulk, so they don't just provide raw computing capacity, but they provide specific services for the customers. And also communicating these services and making these contracts with these services, we are thinking about using the i4Trust framework for that, because it just makes this contracting way more easier using those mechanisms. There's like a data center association in Finland, and we have been talking to them. So hopefully we have a chance to speak to a wider audience through the events. And in the end, the good thing about this i4Trust framework that it's really flexible, so it applies to different domains also. So we are talking about combination of facility management here and services, and that also can apply to different sectors. Sort of like we have been trying to identify different use cases which are close to it. I mean, of course, we want to approach the data centers, yeah. But around that, for example, the mobile towers, they need a tiny data center to be able to operate, and there are a lot of them in the country. So we want to approach the telcos and see like how they are dealing with the situation currently and see if we can scale that way.